What is up, everybody? It is Alex here from Heavy New York, calling from the Altar again, and this time we are here with Waylon Reavis of A Killer's Confession, formerly of Mushroomhead. Thank you for coming on the show. It's great to have you here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah, dude, it's so awesome to have you here. I managed to check out the latest Killer's Confession album, Victim. Absolutely a banger of an album. Thank you for delivering some kick-ass new music to really, end the summer of 2024 off with. Was there sort of like a vision that you had in mind with the making of this album? Was it intended to just kind of continue from where you left off from Remember, or was it meant to be kind of like new uncharted territory?
This is completely new, uncharted territory. This was a rebranding of the band. I've said this, and I'm going to continue saying this because it's the truth. I feel like the first three albums was me kind of flying out there. We wrote the first album, Unbroken, in 30 days, and I never really got a chance to figure out what A Killer's Confession is sonically. And, I did that, and then I did The Indifference to Good Men, and then Remember. And they're good albums, but I do not feel it was what A Killer's Confession was meant to be. And so I went back to the drawing board, and last year, Andrew Goodfriend, my agent from TKO, sat me down. Was like, "You're not going to tour. We're going to focus on this album. For once, you're going to sit down. I'm not going to allow you to play. I'm not going to allow you to go out. I'm not going to allow you to do this. And we're going to write the album, and we're going to be A Killer's Confession." So I really just went back to scratch with everything, new producers, working with Dusty Bowles. He writes with me, and just built the whole thing from the ground up again. So you listen to Remember, and then you listen to Victim One. They're not going to sound like they're even the same band. It's really just a different feel.
It's funny you mention that because there is like an evolutionary jump. Sometimes I try to like listen to the entire catalog of an artist, or at least what I can, to compare and contrast. And first off, I just want to say it's fair to say that Filth and Martyr and like these singles that we've heard, these aren't just a representative of the entirety of Victim One. This is just one little taste of what's to come, right?
It is, it's a concept album. So like each song has like a different feel. Some are creepy, some are violent, some are, just fun. But the fact is, it's like you're with what you heard with Greed, Martyr, and Filth so far, it's just a taste, And the thing about it is like you really dive in this album. There's a song for everybody. There really is, and it's sonically, it just sits together, and you can tell that it was just cohesive. The whole thing from start to finish feels like it was thought through. And I got to thank Andrew Goodfriend for that one, because he made sure I did it right this time.
Did you think of this concept before you started laying down any music in itself, or did this concept come into fruition? After you have more songs written and
I've got to give credit where credit's due. This is Andrew. Andrew was the one who hit me with the concept idea. He's like, "Be A Killer's Confession. Do this." I'm like, all right. And when I laid in to start this album, it changed a little bit, because like he wanted me to start out being a serial killer, and I was like, I don't really vibe with that. It's like anybody who really knows me knows I'm really kind-hearted. So like going out and finding people to kill would be it's not me. So I couldn't really relate to that idea. So we went to the vigilante, because I've always been a huge fan of like things like the Boondock Saints and Deadpool, and just any kind of vigilante. I'm kind of all about that righteous justice, and Evil Man, Dead Man. So when I sat down and to write the album, that was in the forefront of my mind. And it's like, how do you do this and not make it cheesy? That was like the hardest thing I've ever done. It's like, because anybody could write, "I'm going up in your stairs and stabbing you in the neck while you're sleeping." That's the easiest thing in the world. Like anybody can write that. It's just like, all right, well, we killed somebody. It's no big deal. So like I got further into like, well, let's go with the mind. Let's go into the killer's head and what he's thinking. And like, maybe he's got a split personality. Let's have some conversations going there. So a lot of the lyrics, I use different voices. One will sound one way, then it sounds like it's answered in a different voice. And that's what I tried to do, was like, all right, here's side A of my brain, and here's side B of my brain, and they're going to have an argument in the middle of the song, and we're going to call it a song.
Do you feel? I just thought of this question now because you've given your history with Mushroomhead, and you've done some amazing work with them as well. And now you really seem to have found yourself on this album, almost portraying like a persona in a way, being being the masked man in Mushroomhead, and now playing this sort of persona. Do you feel that maybe you kind of found your strength in portraying like an alter ego, or maybe somebody where it's not just your name in that band?
You're right. I love playing the character. I love showmanship. I love the character. Like I'd always, it's easier to be comfortable on that stage being someone else. Like you walk up there like this, you're walking up there naked, and that's fine. I can do that. But the fans I have prefer me to be that guy. They're drawn to that. That's what they come to know. Gene Simmons said it best: once you put the mask and makeup on, you're never taking it off. He's right in a big sense. But coming back full circle into the mask and the show, it was like riding a bicycle. I felt comfortable. There was no learning curve for me needed. It just like, oh, this feels right, but now it's being that it's not Mushroomhead, I can kind of take it into the vision I see it. It's like, okay, we're going to do this. Because with Mushroomhead, it's Skinny's project, and it's kind of what he wanted to do. And more power to him, man has a vision. Well, I get it now. I have a vision, and I'm doing it. And I totally can respect him for that, because I'm doing the same thing. I have a vision for A Killer's Confession, and I'm going to see it out. Am I trying to jock off of anything? No, I'm just trying to give what people want. What I want to do, and everything is totally superseded with what the fan wants. Because I'm a firm believer, with no fan, there's no band. Give them what they want, whatever it is, entertain them, give them the person or the personality or any of that they want. And you'll have a whole lot better time doing it. Because if you try to force feed that, it ain't happening.
Has there ever been a time though where you're like, do you look at music as just a pure escapism in a way, or has there been a time where maybe personal experiences or personal trials and tribulations served as subject matter or inspiration for your music as well?
It's both. I've had plenty of times like Numb and The Shore are about, me coming through my addiction problems and just like finding myself, dead inside because of all the damage I had done, and just, either way. And then with this being a concept, looking at it and just venturing and telling a story that's, has no relevance to my life whatsoever. If I always think that I should listen to the song and let the song tell me what it needs to be. I've always felt that the song always, because I'm not one that to write lyrics and hand it to you and be like, write a song around this. It's odd. That approach is odd to me. I find it more interesting to be like, okay, let's listen to this. Let's interpret what's happening here. Let's let the song be the mood and dictate me, where I'm going. Because you can write lyrics over anything, but if you really just listen to the song and let the song tell you what it should be, I think that's like how you should do it. And that's my opinion. I feel like you should listen and be one with the song. Because sometimes you hear that the person singing, it doesn't sound like it belongs with the music, because it just didn't work, because they didn't feel it.
Well, I mean, it's sometimes though them not being like, for instance, Guar. That has nothing to do with any of those guys. What those guys are doing. That they're not writing a song about their personal relationships in their music.
Not that at all.
Yeah. Or Behemoth, even a band like them, where there's a lot of, sure, Nurgle brings his own personal beliefs into it, but like it's a whole theatrical like performance where like it's not meant to be like a band like Disturbed, for example. David Draymond puts all of his personal life into those lyrics and whatnot. But there are bands where I feel like them not bringing too personal into it is what actually makes it really interesting,
And that's the thing. I personally, sometimes even on the new album, I take jabs at old me from Mushroomhead. I'm taking jabs at that person. And now I do that in this new album. You can go back and Sun really take some jabs, but I'm not jabbing at Mushroomhead. I'm jabbing at me, from Mushroomhead, because these are the two personalities that I have lived with. I live with Waylon AKC, and I was Waylon MRH. Well, them two don't get the hell along at all.
Well, you actually led me perfectly into a question I did want to ask you, because there is a bit of an anniversary that I want to talk about, and that is this year marks 10 years since your last album with Mushroomhead, The Righteous and the Butterfly. And I remember
Yes.
like some anticipation around that album, because I think the same time it came out, you guys were on Mayhem Fest 2014 with Avenged Sevenfold, Korn, freaking killer.
Greatest summer of my life. That was amazing.
I didn't get to go, and I'm really mad about that. But like, there are so many bands that were like opening that slot that are just freaking massive now, too. So
It was a who's who. Like, you just be walking around, and you'd have Corpse Grinder right there. You'd have Ice T was there. Body Count, like Texas Hippie, King 810,
and El Nino.
El Nino. Oh my God, just so many bands. Like Asking Alexandria,
Yeah.
Trivium. And it was just a who's who backstage.
Yeah.
Korn was there.
It was Suicide Silence's like comeback tour as well, too. So like,
Yes,
you had
with
death
Eddie.
metal, new metal, metalcore. You had like the whole kit and caboodle at that festival.
And we had the best time together. That was like some of the best memories of touring ever to me. I pray that Mayhem comes back so I can bring AKC onto something like that. It's like,
It is coming back. It is coming back.
well, I wanted, like, let this show do great so we can get the Mayhem tour back.
Yeah. Good. And kudos too to Bad Omens as well, because I mean,
Oh, yes. I know they're going to kill it. That band is so talented. My wife loves them. She turned me on to them. I was like, this is some good stuff. I was like, wow. Like, because I'm really not into listening to things. Like, I kind of get in my own head so much about my own music and I don't mean to shun other bands, but like, I'm trying to focus on my own craft, and I don't want to be inspired by somebody else. And I don't really get to hear a lot of new stuff unless it's brought to me and be like, hey, listen to this. And my wife she was like, baby, listen to this.
They're a band, like, I'm obviously denounce this, but it feels good to have a band that I can gatekeep myself in a way, now being 30, being like, oh, I saw them back in the day. They were open for Lacuna Coil and All That Remains, and then they played the Kingsland for like 50 people. So, I can gatekeep that band. But
Oh, yes.
But with The Righteous and the Butterfly, that was a fantastic record. I thought if there is an album to end your career on with one band, it would be that. Just what was the creative mindset and the vision and the circumstances surrounding the making of that album?
During the middle of that album, Skinny came to me and he asked if it'd be cool if Jay came back. And I was like, yeah, bring him back. Because I knew that they're Mushroomhead fans are very particular about certain things. And he is one of them. And I knew if he came back, that those fans would stop hating on me and would respect what I did. And exactly what I thought happened. Jay came back. Jay did Jay, because I wouldn't do Jay. Everybody always says is like, Waylon did a decent Jay impersonation. I wasn't trying to impersonate Jay. That was part of the shtick. When I came in, I wasn't going to be Jay Man. I was going to be Waylon, and I was going to sing like Waylon. I'm not a rapper. Jay is a rapper. I didn't try to cross those lines. And I feel like that was the only way I survived, was being my own person. And when Jay came back, and it was like, all right, there you go. Don't you blame any of this on me. It's just like, because you didn't get, a J-Man line, and they didn't. They loved it. And I just knew it was smart, to like have me, Jeff, and Jay together. And we worked so well together. It's just sad that I really knew then too that I was at the end of my time with Mushroomhead. I sensed it as like I could just sense the end. I really could. And so lyrically, I put that in there in that album too, that I was leaving. I had planned. I wasn't happy with my life and my musical endeavors at that point. And I just kind of knew that my time there had came and it was now at the end. And it happened, it's like, and I'm glad it did. I think it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, was departing from there. So, I wish them nothing but the best. I do. I don't want to see anything, I don't want to see it crumble, because that's part of my legacy. But at the same time, I knew at that time that I gotta go. Like, this is not good for me at all. So like when it all went down, I wish it went down a little differently, but at the same time, I wish. What was that? Oh my God! CDs just came.
Oh hell yeah!
Someone CDs. I was like,
oh wow! I got to capture that on camera. The news.
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
here I got.
Oh hell yeah! Look at that.
Oh yeah, here.
It's beautiful. Oh, that is beautiful. You're seeing it here on Heavy New York, everybody. That is a work of art right there.
Right there. You can pre-order this from our. What is it? What is our site? You can get it from my shop of
AKC Global Records.
Go to akcglobalrecords.com and you can pre-order both of them. They'll be shipped out the week of September 13th when it comes out.
That's my birthday.
If you get the vinyl,
that's my birthday,
get a digital copy with it, which is absolutely wonderful. Like I was like, oh, so if you get the vinyl, you're going to get it digitally. I was like, that's kind of perfect because I think vinyls are like great art pieces.
Oh my God! I mean, I have full confession. I don't have a vinyl record player, but I have hundreds of vinyls.
Exactly.
So
like I actually put I got the vinyls in yesterday, and I built the vinyl picture for Victim One. I have all my albums against the wall, and Julie's going, "That's a lot of albums, Waylon." I'm like, I know. I'm starting to look at it, starting to fill up because I'm doing an album a year. It seems like so. Like every year, I'm releasing a new album. And speaking of which, I'm writing a new album right now as we speak.
oh hell yeah! Well, you clearly opened up.
We have already moved from Victim 1 to the next album.
Is it Victim 2? No, I'm kidding. But like, because if we have a series now, since you found yourself on this, maybe this could be a whole new series.
It is going to be a series. I'm doing a trilogy.
That's incredible. That I cannot wait.
I'm doing a trilogy. I did love this so much, but like I'm moving from this part. This is like chapter 1 of this. This is like the first part. And we're going to go into the middle and then to the end. And, we're going to cover a lot of things. We're going to cover acceptance and forgiveness and things like that. Because, like, he's going to find himself in different situations in the next album. Because this time he's violent. And, like, he found the character kind of found himself in a world he didn't recognize. And it just felt like a lot of things were being let go that shouldn't be let go. And I'm not talking about, like, just going out and taking out anybody that didn't agree with him on an opinion. I'm talking about people doing terrible, terrible things and getting away with it. And you know what I'm talking about? Like somebody beat up your grandma in your nursing home and you never know about it. Like that type of person where he goes and like handles that type of sin.
Can you maybe see like expressing this concept in the storyline in other mediums outside of the album too? Can you maybe see like a graphic novel in the works or maybe even a film or something like that?
I could totally see that. And, being that we did it in song, I didn't do it like song 1's chapter 1 and song 10's chapter 10. I didn't do it like that. It all takes place in the mind. So each, like sometimes you come across victims, sometimes you have arguments, sometimes it's just him just like argue, like in his mind, like, can I do this? Because part of the character doesn't want to do it. Like it's like any rational person, like I can't do this is bad. But in realization of that, he also knows it's like I'm just as guilty as the people I'm after. Because we covered the 7 deadly sins in the album, wrath being one of them. He's guilty of that. He's guilty of wrath. He's guilty of judgment, and he realizes that. And it was so fun to write about because it was hard. And my dad used to say anything great in life should be hard because if you work hard to do something, you should have great results. And if you truly did and put everything you had in, and now I'm getting the CDs and the vinyls and I'm listening to it and I'm like, holy shit, this is really good. And I've never done that with one of my albums.
So the final question I wanted to ask you kind of led me perfectly into this because I think that your work is extraordinary from, Save Your Sorrow, the beautiful stories for ugly children, all the way up to now, Victim 1, your work with Mushroomhead, and your work with The Killer's Confession. Excellent job.
Thank you.
But I want to ask you this. We as artists are so self-critical. I'm not to assume, but we all have said things to ourselves that we wouldn't say to like our worst enemies sometimes. But look, you have dedicated fans who resonate with your work, and you've been told numerous times, myself included, that your work is awesome. But deep down inside, like we always feel we could do something better. So how do you kind of become satisfied with your work? Because I feel like if you get too satisfied too quickly, you kind of half-ass it. But you're also never satisfied with your work because you're so self-critical. But I feel like that's not really a good way to feel either.
You're right. It, like I said, it took me forever. Well, it felt like for me, it took me forever to write this album. It took me a year, and I usually don't take that long, but I'm thankful it did. But I had so much stuff hit the cutting room floor, writing a complete song, and then just throw it away. I throw it away. I'm never going to be satisfied, and you shouldn't be satisfied. You should be happy with the final results, but you should never be satisfied with your ability. You can always be better. I always say, get up and go do something, and that's in your life. Just get up and try hard to be better than you were today, tomorrow. And that goes with anything you do. If you're going to be a police officer or a firefighter or a doctor or just a ditch digger, go be a better one tomorrow, man. Get up and just, nothing's wrong with like just digging in and working hard. And I feel like a lot of people are looking for easy ways out. You get rich quick, easy way. I just want to get online and show my butt for 5 seconds and make $50,000. Well, that you're not getting. You don't feel like you earn that. Like when you dig deep and you dig hard, and then you find success, it's gratifying. It's like, okay, I earned this. And when you earn something, it's so much better than when it's given.
See, when you're an artist, we always dreamed about people loving our work. And, I'm very thankful to have some of the most supportive friends in the world who, say, dude, I love the work you do and I love the work you do. And I never really, you do? Like, it's like, I get that praise and then you all of a sudden feel like you don't deserve that praise or something like that.
And that's normal. I do that all the time. It's like, man, you like that song? That song was shit. And people the guys will tell you in A Killer's Confession, I hate songs. Like there's songs like, why don't we play this one? I'm like, I hate it. That's why. And we're never playing it again because I'm so picky on myself that once I turn my nose on a song, it's over. Like even when I'm writing it, if I get a whiff of it's gone. Like I'm that critical of my work. Like I am my own worst enemy when it comes to I would never want to review my own album and having to read it because I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, you ever worried that the song you hate the most will just be the biggest hit you guys ever had?
Oh my God, QWERTY. Hate QWERTY with a passion, dude. It is the biggest Mushroomhead song. I was like, I remember hearing it the first time. I'm like, what the hell is this junk? This is terrible. Like I heard the and I'm like, what in the Danny Elfman is going on here?
What in the Danny Elfman? Hey, if he had that, because.
But you know what I mean, though. I was just like, no, dude, this is not Mushroomhead. And then One Shot Around the World. And I'm like, all right. And I was like, man, people are gonna laugh us out the damn door. I was wrong about that. And to this day, I hated that song so much. I hated it. I hated Come On. What other songs did I hate? Just completely. I hated Remember, the song Remember on the album. I didn't like that song.
Oh, really?
It just didn't. It felt like I was going towards Tenafly. Piper. I was like, I've already been there, done that. And, I felt like it was good, but I felt restricted because I was working with other people at that time, and I just, they were really pushing their idea, and that was the reason I had to switch up with what I was doing because I felt like it was their idea and not mine, and I felt like it wasn't my vision, and I was kind of losing control of what A Killer's Confession was, but at the same time, I didn't know because it was still so fresh because like when you write an album in 30 days, you ain't defined a band. You just wrote 10 songs as fast as you could.
Yeah.
And you didn't really flesh out what it was. And especially being a band like A Killer's Confession, it's like if you're gonna take on that name, you need to be it. You need to be what you're saying. And because that's an abrasive statement off the bat. Like most people share a name like, oh, what is this?
It's a fun bit.
And
I think I love that title because it doesn't sound. I feel like it's thought provoking. It's dramatic. It's poetic. It's thought provoking. It has like it's not. It's not like you're a metal band. You know what I mean? Like there's mystery
Yes.
behind it.
Well, see, you get it, but I have people like, but then people see the AKC symbol, and I don't know when anarchy started looking like a pentagram. Like some people are like, that's the devil, that's a pentagram. I'm like,
Well,
maybe
in
if you
the end,
turn
it
it
is
upside
fucking metal.
down.
In the end, it is fucking metal. So
it is, but I'm like people don't like they look past what we're really saying, and the key word and what's thought provoking is confession. It's being the fact, are you willing to admit it? That's the surprise about a killer's confession is like you go down these roads and you can kill anything, a relationship, an old lifestyle. You don't have to do murder. You kill off something without, actually killing something.
murder is used to like the definition of murder. Like for instance, if you like punch somebody and they fall and they hit their head and die, that's not murder. You didn't want them to die, and you had no reason to think that they could have died with just one punch. Like murder is an actual legal terminology. Killing is whether you premeditated by accident or whatever. It's a killer.
But like I said, you don't have to commit those acts. Like you can kill off a lot. Like my addiction, I killed off that guy that was the addict. I killed that lifestyle. Like that's where you really go, because you can kill so many different things, but none of them have to lead to death. Like you could just kill off the way you were.
Killing is a metaphor just as much as it is like as an action.
And so like I use that a lot, but for this time, I'm in it. The victim one, it was totally meant to be. And it's just I love the name. Also, it's on the trailer and stuff, and like it makes people think twice when they want to get road rage with us. They come up and they read a killer's confession on the trailer, then they're like, "Oh no, I'm not," because they're honking and yelling at us or whatever, and trying to be road rage or whatever. They come up past the trailer, they see the mask, they see the guy, they see it says a killer's confession.
It's definitely a good defense mechanism.
Oh, it's great. It's just great. Chad Gray was giving me, he goes, why would you have that on there? I was like, bro, A, it's great publicity. B, it makes people think twice if they really want to mess with us.
There you go. Well, Waylon, I want to thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for such a great interview. And most of all, just thank you for continuing to give us new music all these years.
Thank you so much. And like I said, I'm not stopping. As of right now, I've got 7 songs on my plate right now. I'm trying to sort out and continue this story on. So like hopefully next year this time we'll have this interview again and we'll talk about chapter 2.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much, everybody. A Killer's Confession, Victim 1. Be sure to check that out. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.